So for about a year now, this amp has been sitting behind me in most of my videos looking like this, and I think it's about time we did something about it. So the old enclosure that came with this amp is this huge cabinet right here. Now, since this amp isn't a name brand of anything, and there was no speaker inside the amp when I got it, I don't see any reason to keep it original. So instead of trying to fix up this truthfully kind of gross cabinet, I'm going to build a new one and turn this amplifier into a standalone head. Now, obviously for this project, I'm going to need some wood, and I think what I'm going to use are these side panels from this IKEA dresser that I pulled from the garbage. Now, I think there should be enough wood out of these two side panels to build the amp head, and that way I can save the bigger piece at the top in case I ever get around to building a matching speaker and cabinet. So the first thing I did was break apart this frame so I could get to the wooden panel on the inside. Now, the final dimensions of this amp are going to be 7.5 inches tall, 7.5 inches deep by 24 inches wide. Now, these panels were just wide enough that once I trimmed off the edges, I could get two strips 7.5 inches wide out of each panel. And once I had cut all of the pieces to that width, I could go ahead and get the cross-cut sled on the table saw set up and cut these pieces to their final length. Now, I made sure to measure the amplifier chassis, and it is 23 inches wide. So I need to add the thickness of two side panels to that length in order to give me the final length of my top and bottom panel. Okay, so as you can see, I have the basic pieces cut here, and the amp head is starting to take shape. Now what I have to do next is cut the joinery for the corners, and for that I'm going to use box joints. Now, those are probably the best thing that you can do. It's going to provide me with the most strength, and it's going to make sure that this thing never comes apart. Keep in mind though, you don't have to do something as fancy as box joints. There are tons of other easier methods that you can do. So if you wanted to just glue this up, use dowels or screws to reinforce it, anything like that, that would be okay. But I'm going to go ahead and use box joints. Now, there are a bunch of methods that you can use to cut out box joints on the table saw. I'm not going to get into all of that here. The easiest method is probably using a jig like this with a little finger, so you can just do a little hoppity and cut out your joints. But I actually just built this super fancy and nice screw advanced box joint jig that is Matthias Wendel's design. So this is what I'm going to use. Now, the advantage of a jig like this is I can actually cut half of the joints all at once with it. So I can put all 4 pieces of wood in the jig, offset 2 of them for my finger spacing, cut all of the joints, and then I can flip all 4 of those boards over, make a second pass, and then they're all cut. So it ends up being a lot easier than having to cut every single board individually like you would if you did kind of the finger hop method. But obviously building a jig like this only kind of pays off if you're going to be doing a lot of woodworking. Once everything is all cut out, I can go ahead and put it together just to make sure it's going to fit. And then I can pull it all apart and put it back together with some glue. Now, my joints ended up being a little bit tight, so this glue up was pretty stressful, but with some clamps and some pounding and hammering, I did end up getting everything closed up nice and tight and square in the end. Then once the glue had dried, I could come back with a chisel and just pare off the fingers. I cut these a little bit longer than they needed to be because it's always better to trim off long fingers than have the fingers not be long enough. Okay, so it's the next day and the glue has dried, and I got the amp here with all the tubes pulled out of it. And here we go. This is the moment of truth. Does it fit in here? Yeah. Ooh, that looks pretty good too. Now that I knew I had a good fit with the amplifier chassis in the box, it was time to cut the sloped face of it to match the faceplate of the chassis. So first I went ahead and got a 6-in-1 and could measure the angle of that faceplate, which is about 70 degrees. So I could set the table saw blade to 20 degrees, or really 20 degrees off of 90, so 70 degrees. And then I could go ahead and mark where we needed to cut that off of just by holding up the amp chassis to the outside of the box. Then I could go ahead and set my fence on the table saw to match that line with the curved blade, and then go ahead and push the whole thing through to kind of cut off that angled section so it would line up nice with the faceplate. Now at this point I could clean up some of the edges with a hand plane, and I could do a whole bunch of sanding to get everything ready. And then I got out my small router with a chamfer bit in it and added a small chamfer to all of the outside corners. Now, since this front top edge isn't a 90-degree corner, it is a little bit different because of that slant we cut in the front face. I couldn't use the router to cut that one, so I ended up just using a hand plane to match that chamfer to the rest of them. Now at this point, I just did some sanding with an orbital sander and 120 grit sandpaper. Then I sanded it by hand with the grain at 220 grit, and then I finished it up with a cabinet scraper. Now, when I was thinking through building this box, I made sure to put what was the outside of the IKEA dresser on the inside of this amplifier head. Now that meant that I could put the already finished side of the wood on the inside of this amp, and I wouldn't have to do any finishing to the inside. I would just have to apply new finish to the outside of the amp. So even though the amp is not done at this point, I can go ahead and add some finish to it. Now it had been my plan to cut one piece that would slide in under the sides of the chassis and hold the whole thing up tight to the top. But as you can see here, something isn't quite square. So this piece ended up being really tight in the back, but it was way too loose in the front. So I ended up having to cut basically two separate pieces, one to hold up the back and one to hold up the front of the amp. So first I cut down some of the legs from the side panels to be these blocks of wood that were the right length to perfectly hold up the amp chassis tight to the top of the enclosure. And I could go ahead and put 4 holes in them for screws. So 2 screws are going to go sideways into the side panel and hold this bar on. And then 2 screws will come from the back into the front panel and hold that on. Okay, so I've gotten the amp to this stage, and now I need to find something to fill in this front panel. So I got kind of this scrap that I dug out that's just perfect, just needs to be cut down a little bit. And at first I was thinking I could wrap that in this old grill cloth that I had left over from my last speaker cabinet project build, since I was trying really hard to not have to buy anything for this. But I think it's a little bit too close to the color of the cabinet, so I'm not sure that I like that. So then I kind of found this piece of old paneling from our family room, and I actually kind of like the look of that. That's not bad right there. I have to cut this down a little bit more to fit. I don't know if that's silly or if that looks good. But I think what I'm going to do instead of either of those two options is cut a piece out of the old grill cloth from the old cabinet as sort of an homage to the old amplifier. What is this? Ugh. I don't think it's blood. It's like some old groupie's lipstick or something. Ugh. All right, so basically then I could go ahead and remove the front panel and pull a whole bunch of staples to get the old grill cloth off of there. And then I went ahead and just brought it to the backyard and sprayed it off with the hose. And it was kind of gross how much stuff came out of it. Now, once I had the grill cloth, I could go ahead and trim down my piece of plywood for the front panel so that it had a good fit in the space with grill cloth on all 4 edges. Then I could just pull the grill cloth nice and tight around the piece of plywood and hold it in place with a bunch of staples. Now at this point, all I had left to do was to assemble everything. So I could go ahead and screw down those blocks of wood that hold up the front edge of the amplifier chassis, and then also screw into them from the back to hold on the grill cloth cover. Next, I could put in the blocks that hold up the back end of the chassis. And then I could screw in 4 rubber feet on the bottom corners, and I could attach the handle to the top of the amplifier. Now I actually went ahead and measured out where this handle needs to go and drilled the holes long before this step. but I didn't put the handle on because I knew it was going to be in the way with how much I had to flip the amp upside down and be moving it around. So I waited until now to attach the handle. All right, well, here's the amp all done. I'm super happy. I'm glad that this project can kind of finally be done and that this amp looks as good as it sounds now. The one thing that I could see doing in the near future is replacing this grill cloth. Actually doesn't look too bad on camera there, but in real life you could tell that it's kind of dirty and it's starting to fray. I don't know though, I probably won't ever get around to it, let's be honest. It'll probably just be this, and it's all right. Well, that about does it for this video. If you liked it, make sure to let me know by hitting that thumbs up. Otherwise, if you want to see me build a matching speaker cabinet to go with this amp, that's a project I'm considering, so let me know if you want to see that in the comments down below this video. But otherwise, make sure to subscribe. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day. Man, this thing is so heavy.